Hi there. Welcome to Awaken Heart, a podcast for healing women. This is a place where your voice matters, where your body is always sacred, and your journey home to yourself is honored no matter how winding the road. I'm Autumn Moran. I've got lots of labels, lots of tags. LPC, licensed professional counselor in the state of Texas, a life coach internationally, a yoga instructor. What else can I be? A mom, a business owner. I have all kinds of labels, but ultimately, I'm here to help you, guide you, and be your companion on this messy, sacred path we call healing. So let's get into it. But before we dive deep, I want us to breathe deep. So let's take a nice deep breath together. Wherever you're at, loosen your grip, relax your shoulders, relax your jaws. Relax that face in between the eyebrows, around the eyes, around the mouth. Just relax. Inhale deeply. As you inhale, make sure that breath goes down into the belly. You want that belly to expand on the inhale. And as you exhale, let it out through the mouth. Just for this moment, let yourself be right here. No performing, no people pleasing. No perfect version of you required, just you as you are. Because today we're talking about boundaries. I think it's something that just needs to be talked about quite often. Not in the clinical version, not in the Pinterest quote version, but the real messy, lived-in kind of boundaries that are hard to set when your nervous system has learned to survive by staying silent, agreeable, or invisible. If saying no makes your chest tighten, or just thinking of saying no makes your chest tighten. If you've ever said yes and then felt sick, sinking feeling afterwards, like, oh my God, another thing, or why did I do that? If the idea of taking up space, being big, saying no, being loud feels like rebellion, sis, this is for you. Let's start with something we often confuse boundaries with: walls. Boundaries are not walls. Walls say, you can't reach me. Boundaries say, here's how you can be close to me without hurting me. Boundaries are invitations with instructions. They allow connection without chaos. They let us love others without losing ourselves. But many of us, especially if we're trauma survivors, black sheep, cycle breakers, neurodivergent women, we've built walls out of necessity. That was wisdom at the time. So don't shame yourself for it. Don't feel shame. This is kind of what you had to do to get to where you needed to be, or just to make it, right? But here we are in healing. And in healing, we're often asked to soften. Just enough to create intentional edges. Edges that hold us, that protect our nervous system, that honor our capacity. Boundaries are not about control. They're about clarity. They're how you let people stay close without crossing the sacred terrain of your heart. For many of us, saying no doesn't feel safe, right? Let's just be honest why this is so hard. It just doesn't feel safe to say no. I'm not necessarily saying the people you're wanting to say no to are unsafe. May or may not be, but that's not always the case. I'm talking about how you feel inside. You're just not safe to say no because they won't like you, because you're not worthy. It means you're not a good person. Like, what is your story that makes you feel unsafe with that no? It's not because we're weak. It's because our bodies remember what happened when we tried to say no before. Maybe you were punished for it. Maybe your no was ignored. Maybe love was only offered when you said yes. So now, when you go to set a boundary, even a kind one, your body rings the alarm. Danger, danger, danger. Shut it down. This is especially true if you're neurodivergent. Masking, fawning, and caretaking can become survival strategies. You learn to anticipate needs, minimize your own discomfort, and keep the peace, even when the peace costs you your mental health. And so many of us, especially us women, we're taught that our value comes from being pleasing, helpful, low maintenance, Nice, ladies. You better be nice. You better smile, or they're not going to pick you. And then you'll be an unhappy, wretched lady for the rest of your life. All that stupid bullshit, right? Oh, throw it away. Chuck that in the fuck it bucket, please. But being nice is not the same as being safe. And being liked is not the same as being loved. So if you feel fear, guilt, or shame when you think about setting boundaries or when you are setting boundaries, you're not doing it wrong, my dears. You're unlearning a survival script that never included your needs. It's going to feel foreign. It's going to feel scary. But do it anyway. Do it despite the fear. See what's on the other side of fear. I know it's so cliche and it's so simple, not easy. But damn it, it feels good once you start claiming even micro choices, baby no's, baby yeses. This isn't about flipping a switch. It's about gently rewriting the story in your body and in your mind, one small no at a time. One small yes at a time. So you can feel this in your body. This is not just a mental thing, chest tightening, feeling it in your stomach, your shoulders, your chest, your neck, your back, wherever it is that your body feels it and holds that tension. Let's calm it down. So a simple check-in, a simple body practice you can do right now or anytime. Sit or stand with your feet planted. One hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Close your eyes if that's safe to do so, or just lessen your grip on whatever you're doing. Now, say the word yes out loud or silently, whichever one works for your situation. Yes. What happens in your body? Does anything soften? Does anything open? Do you feel a spark, a light, a glimmer? A little bit of hope? Anything? Now say the word no. No. How does that feel? Is it tight? Confusing? Strong? Clear? There's no right answer. This is just data from your body. Your nervous system has its own wisdom, and the more you practice tuning in, just like this, the more your boundaries can come from a place of truth and not fear. You're not setting a boundary because you fear they're going to take advantage of you. You're setting a boundary because this is how I need to be treated if you're going to stay around. I'm not punishing you, but I just can't give of myself at my own expense for you anymore, for this situation anymore. And that's okay because, again, you're allowed to take up space. This act of regulating your body, of just sitting with yourself, taking a breath, checking in, this is self-awareness, my dears. This is about tuning in. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What do you want? What do you need? Is it a yes? Is it a no? What small thing can I do right now to do that yes or to do that no? What does one small sense of micro agency look like? One small thing I can do to feel like I'm taking control, that I'm getting closer to my big no, my big yes. Feel free to repeat this before you have a hard conversation or before replying to a text, before responding to a request. Your body knows what's aligned before your brain catches up. So check in with that body, see what it's saying. Does Bob wants me to mow his lawn? Is that a yes for me on Saturday, the only day I have off this week and I have a few things planned? Or is it a no for me because I'm at capacity, and although he's a good friend and has helped me out, just at this time I can't, but I can offer to help him out in the following week. So it's not a yes, a no, it's a not yet, not right now. Can I get back to you? If the no is too hard, take a baby step to prolong the answer and get back. Practice your response. Get more in depth of your why, of why you want to say yes or why you want to say no, and if it aligns with your values. So here's like a little script, and feel free to take it, leave it, make it your own. But this is a starting point to help you to kind of adapt to any situation. So start with awareness. I've noticed that I feel what when blank happens. So I notice that I feel really sick to my stomach when I hear the truck pull up in the driveway. Right? Right? So set a boundary. So I'm going to start blank. I won't be able to blank. So I'm going to start taking my evening bath around that time. I won't be able to have your plate made when I get inside, but all the food will be there, right? And then an optional redirection, which I just said. Here's what I can offer. The food will be there. The plate will be on the table, right? Like the food will be prepared. So that's my chunk it up. Another example to put it all together. I've noticed I feel drained when our calls run past an hour. So I'm going to stick to 45 minutes going forward. I'd love to schedule them earlier in the day when I have more energy. So you're telling the person how you feel when something happens. You're expressing your boundary and then offering a solution or an alternative or just additional information of what you need to make it all work. This works for texts, DMs, relationships, works, family. You don't need to defend it. You don't need to be having a perfect reason or to say it perfectly. Your boundary is your birthright, my dear. And yes, people may react. They may withdraw. They may challenge you, or they may guilt you. Let that be information, not an indictment. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will often protest when you create them. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It's quite an indicator that you're doing something right, as backwards as that sounds. The louder someone gets as you're trying to make a boundary to safeguard your mental health and well-being, the more disruptive and angry they are about it, is more of a clear indicator like, okay, I am giving of myself way too much. Too much is expected of me as one sole person to do for another. Yeah? So it's okay. And if they do get upset, if they do bounce back with something negative, take a break. I need a break. Have a code word. Go into the bathroom. Take a breath. Remember your why. This doesn't mean you need to cave. This doesn't mean you need to reword it or explain yourself. This just means, hey, this is a hard conversation, and I'm changing the language, the script of this relationship, and I'm asking you to go along with me because it will benefit us both. Oof, a lot has been said. Yes, that's a lot. Let's take a nice deep breath once again. Inhale deeply, relaxing the shoulders, jaws, and face. Let that hot air out of the mouth. Repeat after me, internally or out loud. I am allowed to protect my energy. My needs matter even when they're inconvenient to others. Saying no is how I honor my yes. If you want to take this a little bit further, a little bit deeper, I have some journal prompts that I'd like to give you, or just some thought prompts to carry you through your day, your week, or the next episode. Here we go. You ready for it? Where in my life have I been ignoring my own limits? And by that I mean your mental limits, your physical limits, your emotional limits. Where have you been ignoring the fact that you're going beyond your limits? essentially pouring from an empty cup or an emptying cup, one with a hole with a steady drip that's not being refilled? Where are you ignoring your own limits? Question 2, journal prompt 2, thought prompt. What's one boundary I can practice this week? Even if it's small, but it's a boundary that supports my peace. What's one boundary I can practice this week, even if it's small, or micro agency, right? Micro choices that supports my peace. And if this feels hard, it is hard. You're not alone. Boundaries are a practice, not a personality. You're doing brave, beautiful work. So keep it up, keep getting started, keep going. It's hard to be a strong, loud woman in a world that's asking you to be small, meek, and mute. Just be there for the benefit of others. And I say no more, my dears. Micro agency, take some small choices today, tomorrow, each and every day to say yes to yourself. And as pseudoscience as it may be, envision your greatest self. Envision your most luxurious, happiest, cared for self. What would her boundaries be? How would people be allowed to treat her? How would she spend her time, day in and day out, her moments, her free time, her time at work? Make sure it's slow. Make sure it's romanticized. Make sure it's with love and not pressure to perform, to be perfect, or to please others. Thanks so much for being here today. If this episode stirred something in you, a memory, a truth, or even a question, I'd love to hear about it. You can message me in the show notes, or you can find me on Instagram at Empowering Wellness Hub and let me know what came up for you. If you're craving a little bit more support for your healing journey, head to my Linktree. I've got a good Spotify playlist made for women healing through softness and strength. I've got a boundaries audio bundle that's about 15 minutes worth of audio files when you're ready to say yes and dig a little deeper, and a few more sources on my Linktree. You can find my link to the show notes are at Empowering Wellness Hub. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to share this episode with someone who needs it, someone who is desperately needing to give themselves permission to say no. And as always, take what you need and please leave the rest. Until next time, my dears, may you be happy and free. May mine and your healing ripple outward to bless the world with happiness and freedom. Take care of you, and I'll see you soon.